The Last of Us Part 2 is a masterpiece, at least to me. No other game has made me think so deeply about its characters and themes, because while this was my first time playing the game for myself, I already knew key story moments and how the story played out. But even with me knowing how the story would play out, the game still made me think deeply on its narrative and themes, and that's why it's a masterpiece to me, making me think even more deeply on its themes, even though I already know everything. I still talk about the game regularly with a close friend of mine, discussing the themes and the choices that the characters make, and I even talked to him while making this video, with his feedback being invaluable to me. So thank you, Farhan. You're the best homie I could ever ask for. Yes, this game is brutal, but it also has its moments of beauty. This is the kind of game where you need to play it in order to understand its complex emotions, because my words alone could never do it justice. To really understand the themes of revenge and perspective in Part 2, I have to explain a decision that was made in Part 1. In Part 1, Joel is tasked with escorting Ellie across the country. She's immune to the infection that ravaged society. So in other words, she's humanity's last hope for a cure. But as they travel, something unexpected happens. Joel begins to grow attached to Ellie, seeing her as an adopted daughter. A second chance after losing his own daughter, Sarah, in the initial outbreak. Something that Joel remembers very clearly, even after 20 years have passed. This is what Joel was afraid of, growing attached to someone and failing to protect them, like he failed to protect Sarah. So when they finally reach the Fireflies, and Joel learns that the only way to create a cure would kill Ellie, Joel was forced to choose between the world and his world.
Sweet Jesus.
Doctor?
What are you doing? I won't let you take her. This is our future. Think of all the lives we'll save.
Joel chose to save Ellie from the operating room table, massacring everyone in the hospital to do so. In that moment, he sealed his own fate. Joel didn't just doom humanity to keep on suffering, he doomed himself. The lead surgeon he murdered was Abby's father, a woman that would later come back to haunt him.
Joel, get up. Joel, fucking get up. Please stop. Please don't shoot. Joel, please get up. No!
Ellie's revenge begins when she's forced to watch Abby beat Joel to death with a golf club. She's restrained, helpless, and from that moment on, her world narrows into a single goal: find Abby and make her pay. But Ellie doesn't go alone. Tommy, Joel's brother, Dina, her girlfriend, and Jesse, her friend and Dina's ex, all of them join Ellie in her revenge quest. In her pursuit of Abby, Ellie does things she can't come back from. She tortures one of Abby's friends, Nora, for information and traumatizes herself in the process. Ellie kills Owen and Mel, two of Abby's close friends, while trying to interrogate them for Abby's location, only realizing afterwards that Mel was pregnant. This event made Ellie have such a strong sense of remorse that it caused a physical reaction, with her dropping to her knees. The game doesn't shy away from showing the horrific consequences of Ellie's revenge. The deeper she gets into the spiral, the more she loses herself and the ones around her. It was this final horrific action, the killing of Mel and Owen, that made Abby finally catch up to Ellie, with her finding Ellie's hideout and heading there for one purpose, and one purpose only.
Jesse, stand up. Hands in the air, I shoot this one too.
In this intense standoff between our two main characters, it does something unexpected. It cuts to black and rewinds the story. The game makes you play as Abby. You play as the person you're supposed to hate. This is the person who killed Joel. But when you finally play the game's narrative through Abby's perspective, everything you think about Abby changes. You see her pain, you see her guilt, you see her bond with her companion Lev grow. You see her own loss. The more you play as Abby, the harder it becomes for you to hate her. The game doesn't ask you to forgive her, it just wants you to see the story from her eyes. Abby or Ellie's journey isn't just a simple revenge story, because it all comes back to perspective. Let's say the game flipped the narrative. It told the story from Abby's perspective first, then we switched to Ellie's. We would see Abby wanting revenge for Joel murdering her father, getting her revenge, and then it would have Ellie tracking her down. We would see Ellie as the bad guy, because Ellie did kill all of Abby's friends. But then you would switch to Ellie, we would play as her, We would see what Joel meant to her pain, her loss, and how the story plays from her eyes. This wasn't just a simple game about revenge, it's a game about perspective. After playing the story again through Abby's perspective, we finally make it back to the theater, with Abby shooting Jesse and presumably killing Tommy. After a small encounter with Ellie, Abby gains the upper hand and beats Ellie to a pulp, with Dina jumping in trying to save Ellie, but being subdued by Abby. Ellie tells Abby that Dina is pregnant. Abby could care less and says good, almost saying it's payback for Ellie killing Mel. But as Abby is about to murder Dina, her companion, Lev, calls her name. Deciding not to be consumed by vengeance again, Abby decides to spare both Ellie and Dina, telling Ellie to make sure she never sees her again. Even though I knew how the game ended, that Ellie would let Abby go, that Ellie would come back to an empty house, it still devastated me. But it wasn't the scene that I thought it would be.
Ooh, look at those moves.
These moves?
Yeah.
Ooh, look at Mama go. Oh, wow. Ooh. Oh no.
This scene made me cry, and I didn't expect it to, because when I was playing this scene, all that was playing in my head was Ellie crying in the water after letting Abby go. So in my eyes, Ellie had it all, a family, and more importantly, a home. And in my eyes, Ellie threw it all away for revenge.
Oh. Just take him.
Ellie letting Abby go wasn't just about forgiveness, it was about letting go of her own obsession and grief at the cost of losing everything. Losing part of her humanity, losing her family, but also losing something that Joel taught her, the ability to play guitar. In the fight with Abby, she lost 2 fingers, and now she couldn't play the guitar, losing her last connection to Joel himself. This game matters a lot to me. I wouldn't be making a video essay on it if it didn't. It matters to me because I love its narrative and themes, and I feel like if you're a City Tech freshman, especially if you're in an English or writing class, this game should matter to you. This game has such good character development, narrative structure, and moral ambiguity. It doesn't just tell a story, it tells one that makes you question your ideals, it tells one that makes you uncomfortable. This game has such good lessons on revenge and forgiveness, and the game's biggest strength is in its refusal to give simple answers. There is no simple solution to Ellie or Abby's pain. Whether you're writing your own stories, essays, or analyzing the themes of other stories, The Last of Us Part 2 is a reminder that most stories are never black and white. For these reasons, I believe that The Last of Us Part 2 should matter to City Tech freshmen, as it can help them in writing classes and understand complex themes like revenge and perspective. I knew how the story started, and I knew how it ended, but I never would have thought that playing the story would make me think more deeply on its themes and narrative. That's not just great storytelling, that's peak storytelling that stays with you forever.